Hey everybody. I just wanted to let you know that I had things to think about this one little story, and one of the things was a lot of people said that it was money that kind of made the world turn. I think it's time. I think time makes the world turn. Time spent in the way of spending time with others as an act of kindness or compassion, and time was spent with the others that you love, that is very precious, and that's where memories come from. The story is I had come home from work after a 24-hour shift with EMS. I was dragging tired and got into the house and I looked around, and of course there's all kinds of chores that to be done. My daughter is sitting on the bottom step of the stairs, and of course she's in her marathon telephone call with her bestie. Made myself aware and then went into the living room hearing the TV on. I thought my son was in there and he was probably watching cartoons. But he was not there. So I went back into the hallway and I asked my daughter, I said, "Where's your brother?" And she, and I said, "Well, you were supposed to be watching, so go find him, and whatever he's doing, tell him I said stop it, because you know an 8-year-old boy is not going to be quiet unless he's into something." So she gives me the eye roll and then stomps upstairs, and I hear a little yammering and everything. She comes back downstairs. And I said, "Okay, well," she says, "Well, he says he's doing nothing." And I thought, well, I'm not going to get anywhere with this. So I went ahead and started trudging up the stairs, the speed of a sloth. And I get upstairs, and my son is sitting in my grandfather's rocking chair. And I look at him and I said, "Son, what are you doing?" And he said, "I'm doing nothing, Mama." I said, "Oh, okay." And he looked at me and he said, "Mama, you are always doing something. You always doing something. You're doing everything for anybody, anything for everybody. But I have never ever seen you do nothing. So why don't you come here, Mama, and sit down beside me? Come sit down beside me. We'll do nothing together." So I went over and I got into the chair and I laid my arm around his shoulders, and he leaned into me and put his hand on my knee, and we went to rocking. He couldn't rock himself because his feet wouldn't touch the floor, but he grew up. Anyway, we must have dozed off. And when I opened my eyes, he looked at me, he opened his eyes, and he just smiled the sweetest smile. And then he was off like a bullet down the stairs. And I was sitting there just for a moment thinking, gosh, I'm going to miss a little warmth here of this little being, you know. Many years later, I was at my son's house, and his two boys are bouncing around like jackrabbits, getting ready to go on a camping trip. And the oldest one looked over at me. He says, "Wait, we're going camping, grandmother." And I said, "I see that." I said, "I used to take your daddy camping all the time. It was always a good time." And he looked at me and he looked over at his daddy and he said, "Daddy, what was a good time with grandmother?" And my son looked over at me and thought a minute. He reached over his big old hand, put it on my knee. He said, "This may sound funny to y'all, but there was a time I was feeling sad and lonely, and grandmother had just gotten off work, and she come upstairs and she sat with me, and we rocked, and she rocked me until my heart warmed up and the blues fell away. Then I was all better." So that was a good time. I said memories come with the best of times with the people you love. So when you have the moment or you're aware of it, be kind. Offer companionship. Offer thought. Most of all, offer the time to your children and to the people you love, because that's where the memories come from. I wish you peace and happiness, and today I wish you a whole